I'm done with the whole TV thing. I've never been someone that, like, watches shows or watches movies. I really enjoy going to the theater or, like, the movie theater and seeing a movie and, like, it being, in that moment, 2 hours long and you're only going to see it, like, once ever. There are no movies that, like, I terribly enjoyed that I saw in the theater that I ever saw again. The only movies I ever really rewatched were Disney movies, because you can see them on Disney+. And that was especially during the pandemic. This has to tie in with, like, this ties in with television, and it also ties in with iPhone usage. You can watch any clip of Bo Burnham from 2018 talking about how he got the idea for making 8th Grade, his, like, hit movie. It was, like, 98% Rotten Tomatoes. It's a really good movie, and I saw it when I was in 8th grade. And I greatly related to it because I understood emotionally what was going on in that film. Although I haven't gone through those exact events that the main character did, I understood it because I was also an 8th grader at the time, and I still understand it to this day. But when I watch the clips of Bo Burnham talking about 8th grade, I have to understand that his same mind that thought those thoughts and said those things and believed in those things about the way that technology is, like, ruining kids' lives and social media is ruining kids' lives, how, like, they're living in, like, a dystopian virtual reality and everything in their life is made so they can play it back whenever they want to. So that's why everything is recorded. There's photos for everything. Those same thoughts that he was having in his brain then are the same thoughts that he used when he made Inside, when everyone was stuck at home and either you're depressed not seeing your friends, or you're depressed not seeing your friends and also on iPhone watching movies. What was that sound? I'm sweating. That scared me. Moving on. So, as I get a little more secretive in this conversation, I'm going to put these on to signal something. Kurt Cobain talked about this in, like, the 90s when he said, the early 90s when he said, like, television is just, like, this static, like, it's ruining us, like, we can't think for ourselves, it's ruining freedom. There's also a Red Hot Chili Peppers song that literally says, throw away your television, remove the noose of your ambition. And then I would like to read this quote from Sinéad O'Conner, the last interview. In 1991, she says, because TV has killed free thinking, TV has killed art, it's killed poetry, it's killed theater, it's killed all those kinds of things. It conditions people. They just sit in front of it all day and believe what it tells them. Apart from that, purely form, a scientific point of view, MTV being the worst example of this. If an image keeps changing really quickly, your brain doesn't learn to concentrate. And it gets so that you can't concentrate because you get so used to seeing things only for a second that you don't take in what you're seeing. It's not good for people who want to study or learn something. This sounds very similar to TikTok, when people were like, oh, COVID kids, they don't have an attention span. None of us have an attention span. This started in, like, 1963 when, like, television happened, like, when, it was before then. But JFK was, like, the first televised presidential debate. You know, when JFK was going to be president. That was, like, the first televised presidential debate. Obviously, TV was there before then. But, like, since people were able to see things like that and, like, have a different set of mind because they could see it and not only hear it, it's taken us this far so we get to apps like TikTok that came out in, 2016? 10 years, and now it's getting banned. We've never had, like, a full attention span with all this technology. And it bothers me because we knew this, and people were talking about it in 1991. 3, like, significant bands or people during that time were talking about it that I know of. And probably lots more. So, they're always trying to talk to me. So, continuing to talk about TikTok, Adam McIntyre recently posted something along the lines of, with this TikTok ban, we're realizing that there are so many, like, amazing memories of people, of just memories in their life that are amazing to them, posted on TikTok that are only on TikTok, and they're losing. because they made it for their fans. They made it for the people watching them, you know, their supporters. And they didn't make it, I don't know, for themselves. Or to enjoy it with their family only. And now it's on TikTok, and TikTok's getting banned. Adam McIntyre posted that, and I completely understood that. He also said a very similar thing. There was some quote, like, a couple years ago, but it was like, oh my god, imagine, like, you dying, and you have no photos, but, like, everything's on your Instagram. Are people gonna scroll through your Instagram after you die? No. Not like, imagine you died, but it's a extreme, but I think it's real. And I think that's also happening with TikTok getting banned right now. I personally used TikTok for a while, have not been on it for a couple years. There was one time where I re-downloaded TikTok because I wanted to be able to edit like a photo in a specific way, and I couldn't do it on CapCut or Instagram, so I did re-download TikTok, and immediately it was just loud noise, like a screen, and it was like this grandpa yelling, and I had to like scroll past it, and then it was like this baby crying, and I scrolled past it, and I just couldn't get out of it. It kept going. It was a literal rabbit hole. And I see this a lot in my life, but I know a significant amount of people, I'm Gen Z, I'm 20 years old, that just cannot get off their phone. There's a video that's really good of this one person saying, like, it really is that damn phone. Like, it is. Not saying that, oh, you deleting social media is going to fix you, but there's a significant problem happens that it's not just our attention span, but the way we interact with people. Like, I know so many people that on our break, their break is just scrolling on their phone, and I'm, like, sitting right in front of them, and we're on the same break. You know, whether it's in school, whether it's in, you know, a lunch break with their coworkers. I'm like, I'm right here. Do you want to talk? Like, what do you need right now? Do you need a dopamine fix? Do you need something quick that'll make you feel good? Because I don't think you're getting that from your phone. You're getting, like, conspiracy theories from your phone and, like, the news. So I don't know if that's going to make you feel good, so I don't know what you're looking for. Like, when you pick up your phone, ask yourself, what are you looking for? When you're watching the TV, ask yourself, what are you looking for? Like, what do I need in this moment right now? I just got back from a long day at work. You know, I feel like in the past it was like, have a glass of wine. Now it's like, have a glass of wine and watch TV. There's no, like, freeform thought. And there is, but I feel like we are living in the most extreme. And that's why everything's scary. And that's why in President Biden's farewell speech, he was like, you know, he quoted Eisenhower, the past president, and said, like, you know, the military-industrial something. But Joe Biden was applying it to, like, AI. And he's like, there's people in power, the rich, and this AI stuff. And we cannot let AI take over us. He said something paraphrasing along the lines of that. That struck out to me because as a Gen Z person, I was watching that and I was like, okay, if I was in 1963 watching, like, JFK, like, say something, I would have, like, taken that so seriously. But it's 2025 and it's almost a feeling of whatever. You know? I can evade the news. I don't watch the news. I don't watch TV. My friend's idea of having a good time sometimes it's watching a show. And I say I don't feel comfortable doing that with you. I don't want to. You know, like maybe I have a 10-minute break where I'm eating and I'm with my friends in the living room and watching a show, but I don't find any, like, enjoyment from that. I find enjoyment from realizing that they like it, but I don't personally like it. I'll go back in my room alone. That's a big thing. Moving on. Hobbies. I grew up, maybe it was in high school or college, where I said, I don't have any hobbies. I said that for a couple years. I didn't draw, I didn't crochet, I didn't really do anything. I was in band, and a bunch of people told me, Leo, your hobby is doing band. And I said, well, band isn't a hobby. Band is just like, I like it, and it's something I do. And they're like, well, that's a hobby. Anyway, I get to college, I stopped doing band. Because I didn't put so much work and time and effort into that, I ended up delving into a bunch of other different things, such as drawing, such as making comics, such as coloring. These are 3 different things. And I finally got hobbies. And it was something I enjoyed. Also journaling, like things like that. And I like having free-form thought and the ability to, like, feel it all. That's, like, a mentality I use a lot. Like, even if it's hard, I like to feel it all. And although I am on iPhone, I am very aware that when I am on iPhone, it is temporary for how I'm feeling, and I put that down and the feeling comes back. It's still there. You didn't resolve anything. So I find that on my breaks during winter break, I'm very aware of like, well, this is really the only time I'm gonna get to like be on my phone and watch YouTube videos, so I'll do that for a while. I'll watch a lot of Adam McIntyre. I did that all of last winter break. I watched YouTube for like literally 8 hours a day. I get back this winter break and I say, I don't want to do that. Because look, now I have all these hobbies. I write, I draw, I create, I do all these things. And even though I was working at school, I still had time for those things in between the gaps. Instead of, I don't know, watching like, I don't know, like binge watching Schitt's Creek, which I did do for a while. The only connection, so this winter break, I didn't really do that as much. I didn't watch a lot of YouTube videos because it made me feel bad. And I realized that I connect watching like TV or watching shows like on a laptop or on anything or watching YouTube videos to being depressed. Because one time when I was in college, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to talk to people. So I watched like every episode of Schitt's Creek in a row. And it reminds me of, I don't know what her last name is, but Tara, the woman that wrote Educated. She went to, I'm not comparing my situation to her at all, but she went to Cambridge. And she said that one time she was so like depressed, she just like watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer like every single episode in a row. Like for 20 hours a day. Didn't stop. Just click and click and click and keep watching. So I connect that same feelings of watching shows to being depressed. Because it's distracting you from me being able to feel. And there are some times where I would kind of start to like feel what I was feeling during an episode, and I would like pause it and look up for a minute and then go back to it. There's also a continuum of people that I know and you know that watch a show and there's like an ad break, you mute the TV, you go on your phone. The ad break's over, the show starts, you're on your phone. You're not watching the show anymore. It is that constant like attention span thing. I feel like that's all people really talk about during this, but it is so much more. It impacts your emotional and like physical and like spirituality, like safety. I'm not saying that you can't be emotionally mature or like physically safe or like spiritual if you're on iPhone and watching TV, but it impacts it. And that's what Sinéad O'Conner talked about in one of these interviews. She's like, people just need more spirituality. That's what we need. We need God. Recently, I went on a trip to Philly with my friends, and it was really fun. But at the end of the trip, I wrote this notes app, like a notes app apology, but I had my friend read it, and basically in it I said, I become very uncomfortable when we're hanging out as a group and people are on their phones. Like we're eating dinner. And I kind of got the thought of like, am I not enough for you? Like I thought we were enjoying each other together. This is a no glasses moment. I thought we were enjoying each other, so why are you on your iPhone? And I told my friend this, and he kind of agreed. He agreed. Then we got on a train together, and it was like an hour and 15 minutes, and we're driving back, and him and I are having a conversation, and I realized that in those moments of like silence when we didn't say anything, instead of him going on his phone like he usually does, we just sat there, and we like stared at each other. And it took me a couple times to realize like, oh, he's purposely not going on his phone. Can you believe that you have to purposely not go on your phone instead of purposely go on your phone? And for the whole train ride, an hour and 15 minutes, we were just talking, and then every once in a while there would be a period of silence. Maybe we would stare at the window or just do normal human things, and then it would end. We weren't listening to music. We weren't, our own individualized experience happening on the train was not happening. We were there together, even if we weren't saying anything. And it was enjoyable because I realized that we were both purposely putting effort into not going on our phones. I'm not a perfect person in this regard. I'm never going to say I am. And I have never said I was. And is and was and did. And doesn't. And is. But something I almost take pride in is that I don't go on my phone when I'm with my friends. And if I do, I say like, oh my God, I just need to search this one thing up, like, and then I'll put my phone away. Do you ever notice when you open up your phone, the people around you do as well? This is a big thing. And I think the beginning of this stems from television. And then when a commercial comes on, you you mute it, you get up and you walk around. And you sit back down. Like, I think it stemmed from television. I wasn't around when television got created. I wasn't around when internet got created. I don't remember MySpace. I don't remember the 1999, circa 99. None of that. But I greatly enjoy people like Bo Burnham that talk about this. Literally, his song, Welcome to the Internet, he made in 2021. But he was having these thoughts probably for ages when he was a kid that got famous off the internet at, like, I don't know, 16 or something. Like, he knows. And he was telling us the truth about these things. He's not the only one talking about these things. I want to be someone that talks about these things. And I think one of the first steps was telling my friend, like, hey, it does make me uncomfortable when people go on their phones when we're hanging out. And then that whole train ride, we were just with each other. I want to find moments now where maybe I'm eating my food and I'm not doing anything. I'm not on my phone. I'm not watching TV with my friends. I am just there. I'm eating, maybe even in silence, just eating my food. That's something I'm looking forward to doing. Because it takes so much longer to eat when you're on your freaking iPhone. I want to be there and experience every moment. And the ability to feel it all encompasses being able to be there for all of it. Not be like this traveling dad every time you're on your iPhone, and then when you're not, you're like at home with your kids again. Not to compare those experiences at all. It's just a metaphor. But I'm kind of talking in circles at this point, so I would like to thank all of my audience and all my fans. This is not content. This is my truth. Thank you.